Joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is our friend, JJ Kinahan, CEO of IG North America. Welcome, JJ.
Good afternoon. Always great to be on with you. How are you today?
Happy to see you as well. So, who else is happy? People who are holding Bitcoin. It's right now above 21,000. Did you ever think we'd see this again? Where are we headed next? What do you think is next, 25 or 15?
Well, we've got a lot of momentum, and to your point, despite all the news that's been out recently, let's face it, if I were just to show you the news that's been out on Bitcoin over the last month or so and said to you, do you think Bitcoin's higher or lower? And at the time, we're trading about 18,000. You'd have probably said lower, I would have guessed. I know I certainly would have. So I'll say I would have been the one that was wrong. So the fact that we are now flirting with 21,500 is pretty amazing to me overall. That said, it correlates a little bit to sort of the equity markets right now in that we're starting to see people put on a little bit more risk. Volatility's come off there. I think that some of the, you just showed an interesting chart about money managers, et cetera. I think what they're seeing is it might be time to put on a little bit more risk. Perhaps Bitcoin was unfairly beaten up with everything else that went on. And so as I look out, I think we're going to get up to about the 22,500 level before you really start to see some resistance if you look at a chart on what's going on in Bitcoin. And when you have days like today, we see how quickly you can get there.
You talk about people wanting to put on risk, and I brought this up. Bed Bath & Beyond is now trading above $4. Admittedly, I might have bought a couple of shares here and there.
All right.
I'm disclosing. All right, I jumped in on the meme stocks. But what do you think about the fundamentals here? I mean, we're talking about these numbers. Do you think that the fundamentals, the underlying fundamentals, are really there, or is it just market? Just right now, the sort of the market structure is such that maybe it's thin, maybe the way in which buyers are coming in is such that it's pushing the price up, but it might not be there fundamentally.
Well, I have to say this. Going into the year end, I will say I was a bit of a doubting Thomas. And that being that, at year end, to your point, things get thin. A couple of big trades can really influence prices one way or the other. The fact is, this is a week that people, everyone's back, so to speak. And so you have real participants in the market. So to see a day like today, when everyone's back from vacations, et cetera, I think is really encouraging for those who are bullish on particularly Bitcoin overall, because we have seen such an incredible move to the upside. And as we've seen some pretty good volumes. I mean, again, we'll see sort of at the end of the day what the volumes look like, but pretty good volumes. And again, I don't think it's an accident. It's coinciding with some volatility measures being lower elsewhere, and people are a little bit, to your point about Bed Bath & Beyond, it's a little bit of something you're seeing across the market at the moment, as people aren't exactly going crazy across the board as maybe they were in late 20, early 21, but what they are doing is saying, you know what, maybe we just cut back on risk a little bit too much. It's time to go out there, dip our toes in the water, and see if we can committing a whole lot more capital. That's why that 22.5 level that I talked about in Bitcoin is going to be really interesting to me. I actually think it's probably healthy if we bounce off it a couple of times and then go through it, rather than just, rocket right through it at the very first time. Because that also reflects on what's going on in the market overall and what's going on in the market structure overall with crypto, in that we've seen, unfortunately, some firms not really survive, if you will, but having been around a long time, I can tell you that other markets, it does remind me in a sense of what we saw in the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s. Only the strong survive, do survive and start to get more volumes, tend to have really good long-term lives.
There's some chatter here on crypto Twitter about traders on Coinbase pushing on. It looks at the premium of Coinbase Bitcoin against the US dollar when compared to Binance's Bitcoin versus Tether, which stands in for the dollar. Well, that's a different discussion. But you see, the premium's close to 4%. It was close to 4% in the past weekend, which is the highest it's been in several months since it looks like October, I guess. What do you make of this? What is that telling you? Is it retail? Where is this happening? How is this? How are we getting this free here?
Well, I do think part of it is retail. We're seeing in our own flow, we're seeing more retail traders interested in the last, since the new year, I'll say it that way. Since the turn of the calendar, we've gotten more people interested in crypto again. And also, to me, this is interesting in comparison to the fact that we also saw it was early November last time we saw crypto above 20,000. So, do we say, okay, that there is momentum here, or do we say that there is an early indicator of the other way? So I think that this is going to be also interesting to start seeing how this correlation plays out over the next few weeks, a little bit longer term. Everything we look at right now would say that this might be a leading indicator of what we're starting to see in terms of people willing to take risks. And this, premium, as you say, may make a little bit more sense. Now, part of Coinbase may also be, again, people wanting to take risk without taking risk in the coin themselves. So they're going as a fill-in by buying that stock as a derivative play off what they would see as Coinbase, so as Bitcoin. So I think that could be something that's also contributing to that.